let's talk about hidden fructose. Now, we've talked before about how sugar, and in particular fructose, can keep your appetite going and maybe even override the Ozempic that you're taking, or the other medications like Wegovy, Mounjaro or Saxenda. So you really want to give yourself the best chance. You spent probably a lot of money on this medication and you want it to work. So it's one tool amongst many, and by reducing the fructose and dealing with your stress, you can make sure that this program works for you and that you never put the weight back on again. So let's talk about all the hidden sources of fructose. So you know that candy and sodas are going to contain sugar and most likely fructose. It's much cheaper to use fructose as a sweetener than glucose or any of the other sweeteners like cane sugar and palm sugar. So most products in the supermarket are going to be using things like high fructose corn syrup. So things you may not have thought of, like bread, sauces, dressings, mayonnaise, coleslaw, all these things that have dressings already put in them, a lot of them have sugar in them to make them more appealing and more addictive. So things like tomato ketchup and mustard, they will have sugar in them. And salad dressings in particular, instead of just being oil and vinegar, they'll have some sugar in there to make it more appealing to your taste buds. Even things like balsamic glazes will have a lot of sugar in them. So, and some recipes for dressings will contain a lot of honey because, we really enjoy that mixture of salty flavours like meat, then with honey, sugary sweet, that sweet and sour kind of flavour. It's very appealing to us. But if you can train your body to need less sugar, you'll find it much easier to lose weight. So other things like fruit teas also will have sugar in them. So check the labels, check to see the ingredients if there's anything with sugar in it. It might be like concentrated fruit juice. So just look at anything that's in a packet or a tin may have sugar added, and you've got to check the labels and everything. Educate yourself on what those labels mean. Look at the total amount of carbs, particularly per 100 grams. So anything that's full of carbs will be like 75%, even more than 50% carbs. That's a high carb food. And you'll find a lot of those are sugars. And the labelling, they can get around the labelling by labelling it as carbs and not sugar. So anything that's high carb and it's processed, it's come in a packet or a tin, there's a high chance that it will have some fructose added to it. And then look for names like cane sugar or maltodextrose. These are codes for sugar, and there's a lot of them out there. So, and don't be fooled by products that say sugar-free, like fruit juice often will say sugar-free, but they're legally allowed to add a certain amount of sugar or fructose to fruit juices to put them up to a level of sweetness that is much higher than you realise. So again, check the labels, check the ingredients, check the amount of sugars, and per 100 grams is the easiest way to look at it rather than per serving, because everybody's got a different idea of servings. So if you get used to looking at things, how much sugar and carbs per 100 grams, then it's standard across the board. Or in your country, it might be ounces. So look at how many ounces of sugar per ounce of product. So fructose interferes with energy production. In our cells, we have little battery packs called mitochondria, and fructose interferes with the way that they make energy, the ATP. Some of you may have heard of ATP if you're in the fitness industry. And so it can make you feel really tired out of your diet. Straight away, you're going to feel more energetic, you're going to feel more lively, and you might feel a bit more like exercising, even if it's just going for a walk. And you will also feel much less hungry, because fructose is broken down in the liver. It's not absorbed like glucose is straight into the gut. It gives harmful breakdown products that cause inflammation in our brain, in what's called our satiety center, where we feel satiated, it stops us feeling hungry, it turns off our appetite. And this can be inflamed by fructose, and therefore it doesn't work. So you just feel hungry all the time. So if you can get rid of the fructose and sugar from your diet and deal with stress like we talked about in the previous video, then you will definitely lose weight if you stick within a healthy eating plan. And all these things together, they work together. So taking Ozempic or one of the other GLP-1 medications is great, but it's a tool, it's part of the whole picture. And cutting out things like fructose and eating healthily and dealing with how you manage stress, that's all part of the picture that will get you losing weight, but it'll also get you losing weight for good, so it never goes back on again. And you'll be a changed person, full of energy and vitality and feeling great and looking great and being healthy from the inside out. That's what it's all about, and I want to help you get there.